Specialty coffee shops go out of business all the time, and a big reason for that is owners just don't know how to get more customers through the door. Our coffee shops are on their way to grossing $1 million a piece this year with 270 transactions per day. In today's episode, we're going to share what we focused on to make that happen.
Roll podcast.
Hope you like it.
Do you think people can tell that our editor set up this shot, or do you think people just think it looks the same?
I don't know.
Do you think it looks different or better? It feels different.
It feels different for you?
Yeah.
How?
I think the lighting is a little different.
The lighting is a touch brighter,
Yeah.
and we're using our new stand, which is like not crowding Ethan anymore. I'll say that.
I do feel free.
Yeah.
I could go like this.
Yeah.
Grayson of podcast and editing fame is here visiting from Montana, giving us a crash course in movie magic and video. It's been a great week.
It has.
I've learned a lot of new things.
Can you give me a little pull behind the curtain? I've been off in my own little lands,
Yeah.
and I cut to you guys playing with light.
Grayson, dude, come
There
on.
he is.
Come show your face.
Oh man, we got Grayson coming in frame right now.
Hey, everybody.
What do you have to say for yourself?
Hey, everybody. I came in here because I need a PDF from you.
Okay. Let me get that for you.
Grayson, cut this part out and post. Yes. I like that better.
All right.
I'll record
We're
it.
so back.
I'll go handheld.
Yeah, can you handheld boom? Like,
That is one thing I learned is that whenever you hold a light, like handheld instead of on a stand, it's called Hollywooding. Like you go ahead and Hollywood that light. It means you hold it.
Is it better? Is it so you can move?
Well, it's just we asked chat why it's called that, and in Hollywood they like to move fast, because they're on a timeline, on a budget and all that. So it's just so you can be more custom with your placement and move faster.
Dude, can you give me a pull behind the curtain of the last couple of days? I was off in green coffee cafe land, and I come to the roastery, and you guys are talking about, Hollywooding a shot.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Well, Grayson asked me on day one, what do you want to learn? And I was like, I want to learn how to make a video. Which
and that kind of kicked off you like saying stuff like that all week.
right.
And then he would get mad at me when I would laugh at him and look at him, but he knows that he wanted to laugh.
Yeah.
You know how he does that?
Like he answers a question for a laugh?
Yeah. But then I laugh and he's like, dude,
I'm serious. You're seriously funny.
Thank you. Well, I just wanted to learn, how to make a video, like from lighting to audio to video. And that's literally what the whole thing was about.
Harder or easier than you expected?
I would say harder. I think for me, it was just learning all of the controls on the camera and the different parameters you can adjust.
So many buttons.
And and so I still don't have it. Like I just need to probably like have a camera in my hands and apply all of that. But it was a great experience. And today, it's not over. It's not over. Grayson set up the podcast, and we're going to film some today as well. I'm excited.
let's go.
Why are we recording what we're recording today?
A podcast?
Yeah.
Well-
and the topic thereof.
Well, 2 weeks ago, we had this kind of different format video, which let us know in the comments if you enjoyed that. It was more like 13 minutes, more like straightforward, just pure information, less banter. And it was about line management, how to deal with pacing, the input of orders versus the output of orders, some common themes with our struggles over the years as it relates to that. Like for us, our team really wants to deliver a very connected hospitality experience and really like go deep with regulars and just, give people the time of day at register. And that is one of our biggest strengths, but it can also be one of our biggest weaknesses because that means the line moves slower because every transaction is slower. It's not just like, hey, what can I get you? And then you're just like off to the races. So we talked about that 2 weeks ago. And today we're going to be answering the question like, okay, that's cool to hear about pacing, but like, what if I never have a line? Or what if I only have a line on Saturdays, or what if my line is like never more than 3 people, how do you even get a line in the first place? And I'll say like through our journey we started in 2016, we were just kind of a mobile catering operation from 2016 to 2018. But in 2018 until, now in mid 2025, we've just been doing retail.
Right.
Lots of retail and cafes. And we started off as a pop-up, as many of you know, in the back of a co-working space. And then our first cafe our first cafe ended up being in that same exact building. So we've been on every end of the spectrum. We were just looking at some of our numbers. We opened our pop-up in January 22nd of 2018. And I think if I remember correctly, our first day we made something like $250. It was on a Monday.
All right, hey, 225. We
225.
don't want to give a false narrative.
Yeah, thank you. And then day 2 was $97.
It was actually 87.
87?
Oh.
$87. Yeah, this is why you're here. And then day 3 was like 100 something. So
Back up,
Day
baby.
2 for me, as I was there alone, was a day of like, oh my gosh, did I just F up?
yeah.
Do you want to bring a little color to that? Why are you?
Yeah, so I had quit my job to be the first full-timer. And I was like, we had these numbers and we were like, we have to make, man, I wish that I could find it. But it was something in the range of like, if we make $122 per day, we'll be fine. And I'm like, what genius was even running that math? Because I'm sure that was just completely wrong.
Expenses were pretty low, to be fair.
That's
We
true.
didn't pay rent at first.
Yeah. And so there was that. That's facts. But I remember that day being as slow as it was. And then at the end being like, I hope we figure something out. And then I think that ended up being our slowest day ever. Yeah.
Day 2. Mm-hmm. Yeah, day 1 had all the buzz of like we're
So much
open.
hype, $225 worth of hype.
$225.
We didn't know what to do with all of our money.
So point being, we've been in that place of like really wishing just a guest would walk towards our space so we could beg them to come in. To now we have 2 coffee shops. They're both on pace to do $1 million each this year, and
Some are saying over.
Some are saying.
over $1 million. And so we've learned some lessons along the way. And I think a lot of them will be very common sense, very simple, but that absolutely does not mean that they're easy to achieve and sustain.
And I feel like you and I, maybe all 3 of us have had conversations with business owners. And that's the thing we talk about a lot is cafe owners and how you can make like a sustainable living as a cafe owner. And so I think there's always a lot of question marks, whether it's early on or years down the road of like, is this going to change? How does this change? I'm seeing X amount come in, where's growth? Do I need to start pursuing other options? Cause when you want to make more money, you can look around and be like, okay, what assets do I have? And what do I want to do more of to see if that creates more income? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of, if we want to camp out there for a second, like what are some examples of things that maybe, you're a coffee shop, and personally, so for us, we've kind of stayed tried and true to, and not saying that's better or worse, but there's boundaries to this of like what you can do with your coffee shop. Like we've never really blown up a food program. It's just kind of like coffee, pastries, coffee boxes, and merch. But it might be tempting to jump into full food program, maybe start selling a little vino, some natural vino. Which hey, I wouldn't be opposed to having a couple bottles of natural wine in space, but
if you're using that to save your operation,
sure.
like I think we did a little thought experiment in our last planning meeting of like
Podcast planning meeting.
Yeah. Like how a coffee shop is about to go out of business, which, we say that like we haven't been intimately involved with a bunch of people's business going out, but like kind of tongue in cheek way to say it, like,
because everything we touch turns to gold.
That's what I was thinking.
yeah,
The Midas touch.
I don't know.
Go to wholesale.valor.com.
Basically,
Where that'll take you. Don't go there.
There's two things I'm thinking of when it comes to making your coffee shop busier. One is like, it's not helpful to chase rabbits. It's not helpful to focus on things that are outside of like why you got into this. I'm not saying you shouldn't. There's not a value in pivoting in the right situation. That's the first thing I'm thinking of. The second thing I'm thinking of is like your location matters a lot. Like maybe that's a good topic for us at some point in this program. Like, do you think that some locations are just unredeemable?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Like,
for sure.
And it's such a spectrum, and it's not black and white, but picture yourself in like certain places we've been in the past where it's like it's super slow and the vibe is not this like magnetic, bustling coffee shop thing that everyone loves.
Okay.
And you have a location that's like maybe in a strip mall. It's just kind of off the beaten path a little bit. It's like
I might be walking back what I just said. I think if you're in a metropolitan area with any amount of traffic, I think brand can bring people in, period, and make a business
brand,
at least work.
Quality, like, or novelty. Like, have you heard about this place that does?
I guess
lattes?
Brand overarching into those things, but it's like if you have a good enough thing, people will take that like inconvenient left to get to your coffee shop.
Now, the more inconvenient the location, maybe the stronger and more potent and like top 1% your concept has to be.
Yeah,
because then cut to a bustling corner spot in a downtown. It's like, you probably don't have to be that good.
Oh, yeah.
You just got to send out some hot brown water and there'll be a line.
Or like, I instantly thought about just like stadium concession stands.
Captive audience.
They're always going to get purchased because people are just there to purchase them.
The other side of that though is like, so for listeners, there's this incredibly high budget outdoor mall near where we are called Avalon. And I feel like when you think of prime location for like any business, like most people would look at Avalon and be like, that's the cream of the crop, best of the best.
And they probably charge for it too, like that.
Constant foot traffic, like maybe a little bit less in the mornings. And, that's kind of why, we've thought like, would we ever go to the Avalon? It's like, well, Avalon's not really the Avalon in the mornings necessarily. But my point is like the businesses that are in that location, which on paper is just this top location, I feel like it's a revolving door in a lot of their spaces.
Of massive brands too.
Yeah, like
they have a lot more money than us.
Allbirds.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'd see them as more of like a little bit more of a cutting edge when it comes to apparel retail of shoes. They were there for like a year, or maybe a year and a half, maybe two. But like, and that's even true of like a lot of the food service establishments there. So I think it's so nuanced and case by case, but I do think that the product and the guest experience and the brand, like overall, are more important than the location.
Maybe a takeaway, if I'm going to get back to side hustles in your shop, is probably starting a side like program that is high cost would be a mistake if you're trying to generate revenue. Like if you're short on cash and you start a food program, that seems really dangerous. If you're short on cash and you start like selling expensive things to try to like up your ticket price, you got to buy all that stuff first. That could be risky. Getting to it, I'm on a new kick right now of like something that is low cost but high value. Event rentals.
You're so into that, bro.
People, if you close at 5, like people want to hang out in a coffee shop at night. We're getting passive reach out to like, can I have a party in your space? And I'm like, for
How much money you
for
got?
$10,000 billion you can, and they're like, yes. I'm like, event rentals. It's like you're paying for that space, and like to go to an event space is probably way more expensive than running out a cool coffee shop.
So how much do we charge? Like, get a little nitty gritty.
Well, I'm in the beta.
He's variable right now.
I'm variable and I'm beta.
What's your average?
Well, I don't know what happened last night, but there's a party last night, and I was like, all right, 3 hours, 2 people are gonna work it. I'll give you the space for 500, which is I feel like really small.
That's a steal.
But you're gonna close the tab after 3 hours of service. So like I don't know how many drinks they were getting, but like they were ringing up drinks the whole time. And so I've done that, and then
You go for more of an open bar concept too.
yeah. So someone also rented it out the other day for a party just for like a couple hours, and their friends were gonna be passing through for like a going away thing, and I was like, oh, you're a dear regular. I'll just do 500.
Yeah. To be clear, that's because he has given us probably tens of thousands of dollars or something.
Sure. Oh yeah.
So kind of more of a different.
Well,
case,
yeah, and there were
but-
other times where I would just like let people use the space, and there's always going to be cases for that. But I was like, man, this is if this is something we put a little, love into, a little
SEO,
little marketing. I'm like, especially there's just thousands of people that come into the space, so I'm like, everybody's got a birthday party. Everybody has birthday, Ross. Mm-hmm. So, but I'm just saying like that is outside of our regular hours. It's low cost and it's a really good profit margin. So that's just a suggestion.
Yeah. I mean, the more business you add to your cafe, the harder it's going to be to keep that thing stocked with stuff, your inventory, your suppliers. And speaking of suppliers, our sponsor today is Odeko.
Oh,
Am I right, boys?
crap.
Wow, Ross. Wow.
That's an ad read. Seriously, as a cafe owner, your most valuable asset is your time. Especially the more responsibilities you have in your life. And a huge time saver is consolidating all of your vendors into one.
It's good.
And look at what Amazon has done. I mean, it's so cliche, but like people just get everything from Amazon, and Odeko is coming in here like, well, what if we did the same thing but for coffee shops?
Yeah, they're taking what big distributors do for all of the restaurants, and they're bringing it to the cafe scene.
Yeah, our biggest hurdle with distributors was that we had to really piece it together between different ones.
Yeah.
Napkins here, cups here,
Yeah.
cleaning supplies here. So to go through Odeko and be able to get all of our cafe goods, and not even just at the cafes, we get Odeko shipments here now too for catering and for our kegging operation.
That's
right.
And that has saved us a weekly Whole Foods trip.
Yep.
Yeah, and they have 13 like cities they're in that they do local delivery to. But if you are outside of those, you have 2 options. They also own Barista Underground, where you can do just standard shipping for, and then they have freight shipping where you could get like a pallet of something. So I was talking to one of our wholesale partners about them trying to figure out where to get oat milk. And I'm like, hey man, if you got the room to drop a pallet, that'll save you some cash right there. And speaking of saving some cash, go to the sign up page, sign up, use code Valor10, get 10% off your first supply order.
Let's go.
So you could buy like 20 pallets of oat milk, get 10% off.
Dang.
Genius.
Then you sell it. Get it.
That's genius. Yeah, we do not do ad reads for companies that we do not personally use. So we can say we personally use
From a
Odeko.
business perspective,
I personally swipe my personal card to use Odeko. Just kidding.
So let's go back in time a little bit to like our story with our pop-up, because I think it's a really good case study because it was our first thing that we did. And I think the beginning was very, very humble. It's probably less fair for us to compare like our second location, Dunwoody, and be like, you should be hitting these numbers too, like it's our second location. But like I said earlier, we started in a co-working space. The city that I think like one of the main reasons we took the opportunity, we took it. Like we were just excited to have any opportunity at that point. One of the things we were most excited about was like that city of Alpharetta was on the up.
Yeah. And I'd never spent a lick of time there. I've been to
Same.
the Avalon, but not to downtown Alpharetta.
It was beginning to be on the up, to be fair. Like there wasn't much happening yet.
Yeah.
And to think of a snapshot of what we came into in 2018 to where we are in 2025. Hate to date this podcast, but yeah. It's crazy how much it's changed.
Was the green space even there?
No.
No.
Old.
Dang, yeah. So it really was beginning stages, but I think we had just heard like the chatter from some influential people in the area of like, this place is about to blow up.
And there also, I don't know if you guys remember, there was also the talk of the coffee shop right across the street had just closed down.
Yes.
So there
Literally
was that,
across the street.
because there was a coffee shop across the street. They were buying the building to level it and put a hotel there. And they had just gone out of business. And that was a part of it. We were like, how can we get this business that was going there come to our place?
That's right.
Right.
Our cart in a corner.
Yeah. So we bring our catering cart into the corner of this co-working space. And, you know, if you've been following us for a while, you've probably seen the general vibe. But I remember like one of the first things I saw was this really like gaudy looking neon sign that said, "Wake up, kick ass, repeat."
Yeah, dude.
And I think at that time, like we were even more like countercultural hipster, like hot, like wanting to be different than we are now because we didn't have kids.
Speak for yourself, dude. I'm cutting edge.
And so it's like we saw that, like super millennial, like
Chuggy.
neon chuggy. That was the
Yeah,
word.
it's chuggy.
That's true.
Neon sign. And like we also didn't want like
The word ass associated with our
like-
brand.
We're like smiling to someone and talking to their kid, and they just look to the right, and it's
Yeah.
like ass.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, yeah, it's like that's a sign that would go in a co-working space because like, you know, it's like productivity, like build your business, you know, that vibe.
Grind.
And that's not like bad. It's just not our brand at all.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would be sitting on my computer and I would look at that sign. I'd be like, okay,
I can
yeah,
do this. I can
got
do
this.
We're on step 2 right now.
Like
Okay.
it did a lot for me, but
Yeah. So that was kind of one of the funny things we were walking into. Again, on the side of like, we really care about our kind of hipster brand was like, we want the music to be super cutting edge. And like, at that time, I was really, really into making playlists. And I was like so excited. Like that was like one of the most exciting things about having a coffee shop was like being able to play my playlists there, which is like classic barista, right? Where you like work at a
Barista turned
coffee
owner.
shop. Barista turned owner. I just want to play my own playlist. That's funny. But we were at constant war with the community manager of the co-working space because she wanted to play Pandora. And we all know Pandora sucks when it comes to,
Until they sponsor this podcast, they suck.
well,
and then we'll start using it.
it sucks whenever you're like
Just
trying to do
kidding.
like a curated kind of like off the beaten path kind of playlist thing. If people don't care about
dude,
this.
off the beaten path, Tame Impala and coffee shops. That's
Yeah.
so unique.
Right, exactly.
Now, do you think it's the Pandora that still did ads too? Is Pandora always ads? or-
No, I think they had paid version because if
Okay.
you do paid version, it's no ads. But it wasn't just the Pandora. It was that. And listen, if you're listening to this and you like this, I'm sorry. This is personal preference. It was the Vance Joy radio. That was just like slow acoustic singer songwriter cursive vibe.
Well, you know what? I think it was even beyond the like self-expression of listening to my playlist and more of like that was one of when we envisioned our cafe in the future. One of our main things was we don't want this to be a sleepy coffee house that feels like a library. And so these like Vance Joy or just like
Of Monsters and Men.
acoustic singer-songwriter, Lumineers, whatever. That was like prototypical perfect poster child artists to be playing in the coffee shops that we did not want to be like at all. And not because they suck, but just because we wanted to be different. We wanted to have like a high energy social atmosphere. And so we walk into this thing and it's like our worst nightmare of music. And so we would just get on the Pandora like Sonos app and thumbs down all the songs that came on that we didn't like.
Yeah, it was a game. It was just a game.
And we had a lot of spare time because we didn't have any customers. So we would just like thumbs down songs that we have to time it perfectly.
Yep.
Because like when the song comes on, when you thumbs it down, it skips to the next one.
Yeah.
So you couldn't make it obvious.
And you couldn't, tip it off.
The whole building's listening to the Pandora station.
Yeah.
So we eventually turned all of those different radios basically just into Tame Impala radio.
Yeah. It would be like we would dislike, and then it would be like Bon Iver. We'd be like, yes! Thumbs up. And that became the game. And I remember there'd be some songs where like, should we thumbs up or thumbs down this one? Yeah. Like, what's the guy that sings that song? It's like, nothing better than this. You know that one?
Ezra Jacobs?
No.
Matt Kearney?
No, it's like he's like a pop guy.
Okay, I don't know.
David Guetta.
I think that we chose that we were going
Archuleta.
to thumbs up
because
his
that
music.
could lead to X or
Yes,
Y.
exactly.
Anyways, point is, we tried to make this space our own. Another example was a massive part of our seating was a conference room that you could book called the Promethean. And so whenever we would kind of look on the tablet outside of the Promethean, being like, is our operation going to be like screwed today or not?
Because even though we were pop up and we were to go, so many people want to. It's not up to the guest, and we put it on them to be like, I'm trying to hang out at Valor, but it's like, this isn't Valor.
Yeah.
But darn it, please come because we need this.
Yep.
And so people would fill in, like it's a coffee shop, and then there'd be these things that happens like, this is not a coffee shop. This is a co-working space.
Right.
We running out this space. The 15 of you need to leave this room. And it's like, oh, crap.
That was our worst nightmare.
And it happened all the time.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys remember, there was a moment where the conference room was rented out to a church on Sundays.
Yep.
And then we had to navigate that nuance as well.
Yeah, because they'd be doing like
praise and worship.
loud worship.
Yeah.
And we were like, do we want to be open during that?
Yeah.
And someone would just come in and be like, what am I walking into?
Well, we weren't open on Sundays for most of the pop-up. Like
Maybe
looking
half.
at
It's a
the,
half, right?
the sales trends.
It was like January to November and then November to August.
you see all those valleys, those are all Sundays.
Oh, that's true, Russ. That is true.
And
oh my
then
gosh.
so we finished out from January of 2019, like in December of 2019, I think that's when we stopped, or maybe November. And then we finished out. So anyways, I think we just like punted on Sundays. One, like personal reasons, like we wanted to go to church and have a day off. Well, that was a big part of it, was like we wanted to have a day off.
Weird.
And we knew that if we were closed, that'd be the only way we could have a day off.
And then we were just like, nah. And then we tried staying up until 8 p.m. Speaking of extending your hours.
Yeah, because we just thought like the nightlife in Alpharetta, as we always talk
I
about.
can't believe we did that, dude.
crazy.
We would work from 6:30 to like 8:30.
For nothing.
It was everything. Well, so I feel like the heart of what you're getting at is this thing that I often think about. It's a little tangential, but it's like the power of like money and influence. And when you don't have those things, you don't get as many choices, Mm-hmm. And you can think about our cart. We had no money, no like influence, and thus no power to have any preference of decision or anything. We were just like at someone's beckoning. And then our first cafe, we have no former cafe experience. We have no power or money to negotiate our lease, and we get probably like one of the most, tough leases to start, and then cut to the second cafe, we have recognition, we have some money, and look at how well like the negotiations and like the choices that we got to make more. Basically, we got more choices with our second cafe, and so I think it can be really discouraging in the beginning for people to like get into a situation and be like, I don't have many choices. But I think what's key is to stay positive about like what is in your control, what can you do, because I feel like in this like startup specialty coffee world, we've seen so many people just take opportunities that come, and you can either like play the victim to it and be like, oh, I'm in this stupid space. I'm in this stupid co-working space. Can't even play my own music. And you're like grumpy. And then the whole experience is going to be grumpy for your guests.
Yeah.
And people are going to come back. You
Yeah,
know?
that's just being a victim to circumstance, And that's like and our, I guess the attitude of our company is like the antithesis of that. It's like, harkening back to previous episodes, it's like every situation we get ourselves into, we got ourselves into it.
Right.
And then that was a massive blessing. That is like the only reason that our company exists. So if we would have been like, sure, I mean, there's days where we were down about it or whatever.
Sure.
But imagine if we like, I don't know, or like we were literally there for free, and then they made us start paying rent after 6+ months.
Well, they told us that they thought it wasn't going to work.
Right. They thought we were just going to leave,
Yeah.
which is fair.
Yeah.
No, that's very fair. And then they're like, and so now that you're staying, you have to pay $1,000 a month. We're like, okay.
Yeah, and exactly. So it could have been like, oh, it's crap, we were here for free. But it's like, no, we were there for free.
Yeah.
That's $1,000 a month in our pocket, that we would otherwise be paying.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, all that being said is like when you're growing, I think it's just good to know what you can control and just have to learn to adapt and be okay with what you can't, Even in Alpharetta, space is just small. We got to like figure it out.
Right.
But okay, what about some stuff? How does our story continue? How do we go from $87 to multi-million dollars?
Well, how did we? I think, we had the basics. Like in that pop-up, we did not have a storefront. We were in the back of this alley. And to say one more thing about what we were up against, they were renovating the alley when we moved in, and we didn't know that. Maybe we did. I don't remember knowing that, but we just see like a jackhammer crew pull up, and it's probably like a week straight of jackhammering outside of our pop-up, like where people come in. And so I remember getting on the Instagram story and be like, hey guys, building's under construction. Just enter through the front door of Thrive, the co-working space, whenever you come in. And I just remember thinking no one's going to.
All you got to do is take a
come
left turn, take a right turn, go past the bathrooms, turn right again. And then once you turn left, you'll see the cart. It's that easy.
It will be jackhammering the whole time, noise-wise. So, that was kind of what we were up against. We had an A-frame sign on the sidewalk that said "coffee" in an arrow. And
Did it?
Yeah,
Coffee this way or something?
Yeah, it did.
coffee this way.
It was like pink and purple.
Yeah.
Pink and purple. Yes.
Oops.
We had an Instagram. We've talked about this before, but we were very raw and real and tried to post like as much as we could, even if it was really low res and like really DIY. We really did the stories a lot. Like we were big on Instagram stories. Mm-hmm. And so we would do Values Monday. Remember this?
Oh, yeah.
We were really big and still are on our core values. So we would every Monday pick one core value to talk about. And while we were open, like at 7 a.m., go to the Promethean, the conference room, or like walk around outside and film Values Monday.
It would take us a while.
Yeah.
It would be like,
But it could because we had no guests coming in. So we were really big on that. We had a Google listing, Google My Business, so people could find us that way. I mean, that's probably like how a lot of people found us.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
because like there wasn't really any coffee.
We're so lucky, you know, because we just didn't know. Like now, if I was to open another place, I'm like, okay, let's get this place to X amount of reviews ASAP, and like start chipping away from when people look up coffee. You know, then we didn't. We were just like, well, let's see what happens.
There was the like legality of the pop-up. I think we always acted with a little bit of fear,
Yeah.
We didn't want to get too big.
but the government found us and it was fine. Okay?
It was fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was fine.
Beyond all the marketing, it really just came down to savoring every single guest that came through the door.
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like we harp on that, but that is the takeaway is like if you don't have many guests, like just go all out with what you got. You know, same thing. You can either choose to be negative about the lack, or you can like just enjoy and steward the people that are in your space. And if that means talking to the coworker that's just like wants to be in your presence and share the space with you for 4 hours, okay.
Yeah.
We're here to serve.
Dude, phone usage behind the bar. Do you remember when we would play Madden behind the bar on our phones?
I think when you would play man behind the bar, that's your game of choice. I would have been doing like doodle jump.
Dude, there was definitely a period of time where we would play Madden against each other behind the bar. Like
All right.
crouching behind the bar. And I think that, that was a core lesson is like,
Don't do that.
don't do that. Like dress for the job you want, not the one you have. And if you find yourself in a place where there's 30 minutes between a guest to the next one, and you're the boss and your baristas are behind the bar and they want to look at their phones, like I just think it's net negative to
Yeah.
allow them to do that.
That's a bottomless pit, because it's like if you walk down that path, it's the same path as because that's like you're talking about dressing for the job you want. That's setting the standard for the space, and that's going to kind of leak out into the culture and so on and so forth. I think about that in the same way that I think about like you're slow, so you whittle your staff down too far
Yeah.
to like one person, and then because it's one person, it's if you ever get hit with some rushage, it's like too much to handle, and then like those people who came there remember that happening. So that's something that I still battle all the time with our spaces when I see a line is like, should we be staffing these up to 15 people on a shift? You know, like what's the law of diminishing returns there versus, but I mean, that's where you just have those checks and you're never like, I don't know. That might be, it's a good experiment for everyone to run. It's like, if I put another person behind this bar for X amount of time, will it get busier? Because I would venture to say that the answer is probably yes.
What does it do to profit?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to take the peaks with the valleys right in the beginning. Because I feel like anytime we think about that, we'll make a move and then there'll be like that slow season. We're like, never mind. Yeah, we're fine.
But it's hard, imagine you open a little coffee shop. It's super slow at first. You're a sole business owner and you have to run the business while you're operating the business. And you've got your laptop out on the bar as we did, at the pop-up, like doing our other roles in the company.
Mm-hmm.
And someone walks in and like, you got your laptop and maybe you don't see them at first. And then they're standing there and you have your laptop out or like your phone. And it's just the last thing you ever want a guest to feel is like they're in the wrong place. They're interrupting you. They're an inconvenience to what you're doing. That's just kind of like, we talk about it all the time, but like viewing guests as guests in our home and we view ourselves as hosts. If you're ever at someone's house and you feel like you're inconveniencing them or you feel like you're running their food supply dry because they don't have enough food or like they're stressed or whatever it is, like that's the worst feeling in the world, that you feel like, man, I'm kind of not welcome here.
We always used to joke about like like an old person in like an antique booth, like sitting in a camping chair.
Yeah.
We're like, let us know if you need anything.
Yeah.
We're just setting up a chair next to the cart and be like, let us know if you need anything.
Yeah.
It's like someone walks in and we're like,
Oh boy. Here we go.
I think it was just a really good training ground for us to learn all those lessons
Yeah.
ourselves. You know, because we went through the seasons of like looking at our phones behind the bar, and we went through the seasons of being like, guys, we should really try not to do that. And you know, eventually we got busy enough to where, you know, we kind of couldn't. But I think the reason we're driving that point home is we personally, and I'm sure listeners, you as well, have just seen so many. I mean, forget coffee shops, just like food service establishments or retail stores where some like the employees are just sitting down on their phones, and it's like, I understand why you're doing that because you're so slow, and if you were to ask the teenager behind the bar, like, why are you on your phone? You're working. And they're like, well, no one's come up to the bar in 45 minutes. And it's like, okay, well, what if you being on your phone is actually why no one is coming up to the bar, you know?
Yeah. Defining terms for the job, you know, is it to steward the space no matter what? And it's to take care of the guests that are just sitting in the space. It's to dial in, it's to clean, it's to like just perpetually work, or is it take the order, make the drink, you know? So as your leader, it's key to like lay out what does this job mean and look like, you know? Because it's easy to just do the bare minimum. If nothing's communicated, it's like, okay, well, people come into the coffee shop, they need the drink, they leave, done. Or they already paid, I don't do anything else, done.
So let's say you're starting to build a little bit of a business. Like for us, we were looking at our charts earlier of our sales, just even at the pop-up. We went from a floor of, on a bad day, $150, $200 to like a floor of, it's like closer to 500-ish. And that was just at the pop-up. I think that there was this potential breaking point that I remember where we started to get busy enough to where one person kind of got stressed with just that amount. And I also remember us having to revisit all of our systems and bar flow so that we could continue to like steward the growth that we had built. So I think that's a really important point too. Like once you've actually started to get some momentum, you can't pour the new wine to the old wineskins, right? Ooh, you need the updated, living, breathing expression of like what is serving the amount of guests and volume that you have at that moment. And a lot of times it's more than just hiring another person. It's like actually the systems themselves. Do you guys remember any of that? Like pivoting and altering our operations to accommodate volume?
Multiple portafilters for our single group head machine.
Yeah.
I mean, we were able to do, by the end, we were doing $1,600 Saturdays.
Yeah.
With a GS3 hooked up to a 5-gallon water jug. It's like,
oh, goodness gracious.
That we would refill in the
Waste
kitchen
bucket
across
overflowing.
the way. Ooh, yeah. I mean, there's that. There's like, probably just buying like bigger pitchers. We like, I like brought a piece of wood from home that we like put next to the GS.
The block.
The ghosting block.
The ghosting block.
So we could ghost better on the GS3.
And that was huge.
Because that meant we could open take out the portafilter while milk was going and keep firing shots.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just little stuff like that. And honestly, we talk about it a lot in the cafes, but even when it's slow, it's like we gotta see how fast we can get someone there to drink, because that is such a key point of someone coming back, is just the quickness, the whole experience. And I don't know who I was talking to about this, but I mean, when it comes to, say you're operating a cafe right now and you're wondering like, man, what are some things I can do to make this place busier, whatever it is. I know it's elementary, but I would just say reverse engineer what you want when you go to a coffee shop, and then hold that up to the reality of what is it like when someone comes into my coffee shop. Because we get so caught up in the weeds, if we're just thinking about these things. We're thinking about staffing. We're thinking about the orders we need to do. We're not, basically all those things just take you away from actually being focused on the guest and their whole experience in your space, from the line to waiting to sitting to leaving. And if you're like, you know what, I would really like someone to check on me if I'm at a coffee shop, like after. And then you're like, wait, I never do that.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite thing when Valor people travel and they go to other specialty coffee shops. They'll bring back the good and bad and be like, you know what? I could do this better. Or like, you know what? I'm so glad that we choose to do this because nobody asked me if I'd been here before. And I really want to talk about that because I love coffee shops.
Yeah.
But
right.
That's a huge takeaway for me is reverse engineer your dream cafe experience, because that kind of will fuel your vision and build that healthy culture for your team as well.
Dude, so simple. But I feel like if you could be a fly on a wall at all of the conversations we've had about Valor or coffee or whatever over our almost 10 years, that has been at the core. And that's why it's one of our core values, put empathy into action. That's all it is. It's like, if I was the guest, what would I be seeing and experiencing right now? Because it's so, like you said, so easy just to get in the weeds of like what do I need to do today? What are the problems going on with the team? Like, do I have people scheduled? And having those eyes to see, and like you said, getting out and experiencing other shops, whether it be Starbucks or whether it be like traveling to a cool shop, in a different city or whatever. It's very, very informative. And I think it can bring a lot to like actually not stagnating and improving as you grow.
Freshness.
So, I mean, I guess we could look, we looked at the pop-up, but in closing, maybe we just look at our actual cafe.
Yeah, you mentioned the power of the storefront, because we were in the cart for a year, so I'd say a lot. But, we've been around, we probably had some awareness of like, oh, there's that place, that you could go to.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, we probably did little to no marketing from, August 10th, 2019 to August 30th, 2019 of like all that happened to probably a lot of people's minds that we just moved up to our own space.
We moved, we posted about it. We released new branding, like custom packaging. Actually.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And like new merch. And yeah, we were just heavy on Instagram, but that was all that we did. That was it.
And being heavy on Instagram is just for the people that follow us, basically.
Yes.
So there's no like external marketing. We weren't going
We
around.
released a website, like we moved to Shopify, like had a Shopify website.
Nice.
So let's just put it this way. In year one of our pop-up, we did $150,000 top line, give or take. Top line revenue. Gross.
January 2018 to January 2019.
2019, right.
Yeah.
And then, so we opened our...
Oh, can I say something really quick?
Yeah, man.
We started roasting coffee too.
In July.
Yes.
Of 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah, right here.
And that did something,
Yeah. Well, yeah, like our hope with it was beyond just the brand continuity, like having our own product. It was like, hopefully we're going to sell more retail bags now.
And we did.
Yeah. And that's a higher ticket item than
Yeah.
a cup of coffee.
For sure.
So top line revenue in year one of the pop-up was $150K. Top line revenue of year one in the coffee shop, August to August of 2019 to 2020, was $550K. And that was like, this was COVID era, right? Like,
Yeah.
in case you guys haven't heard. But
I still just like, I so don't identify with that. We've talked about that before. It's like, I don't identify as like a coffee shop that opened right before COVID. That's not like a part of
our story.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just because we had the pop up before, and our story is kind of like extends to before
continuation,
the cafe. But I just, whenever I think about the first year of our cafe, it's not one of my like core thoughts, I guess, for whatever reason.
I completely agree. I totally agree.
I mean, just from a sales perspective, you definitely see what should probably be an up and to the right
Sure.
gradual growth, but instead you see this valley.
Yeah.
One thing that's not on there is like we did do online ordering for a good little chunk, probably like April to October.
Oh, you're saying that doesn't show up on our Square reports?
So if anything, that like tick up after March or April probably be a little bit more handsome.
Right. But I think that's a really common question, and one we've got before in wholesale partnerships is, all right, I've opened my coffee shop. We're making X amount of dollars per day. Like let's say they're making $850 a day. Like that's slow. Like when's it gonna pick up?
Yeah.
And what are the things I can do? You know, it's kind of what this whole podcast has been about. But like, I think there's a lot of people in that situation where it's slower than they thought it would be. When can they expect it to pick up?
You're probably tired of hearing these excuses like, well, that's just the beginning, you know? It's
Yeah.
like, okay, but it's been 3 months.
Right.
What's changing? So what we were trying to do is look at like, because in our industry, there's typically like price increases. Maybe we've done that 3 or 4 times over the last 6 years. And so it might be a little tough to look at just like your gross sales numbers year over year. So we were looking at items sold, and it looked like, I think after like 2021 to 2025, just from an organic perspective, we had like a 5,000 more items sold year over year, you know? And that's like, I don't know if you equate your average item to $6 or $8, but that's
You're saying 5,000 per year?
yeah.
Okay.
So it's like $30,000 to $50,000 in like just organic. Like we're just doing the same thing. And I would say from a perspective of a new cafe, that's pretty fair. I feel like I was looking at one year, I think it was like 2020 to 2021. It was a pretty big jump because of that little dip, but it was, I'm trying to think, a tough thing for us, right, was that we kind of went into winter. And so we had a little bit of a dip, but I don't know the big takeaway, honestly, of like, because we went from the cart to the cafe, there wasn't this like, whoa moment.
Well, I think there's no silver bullet. Like there's no making it big in your coffee shop. There's rarely virality when it comes to coffee shops just exploding. You know, like I feel like we were in a pretty good situation, pretty good candidate for virality in our coffee shop because of Alpharetta, the city that our coffee shop, because of its growth. You know, like there's just more and more and more people walking around in Alpharetta than ever before. And so like if anyone could have experienced that, it's like it could have been us. You know, there's a hotel that opened right across the street. Like when that happened, not like everybody, like a lot of people were like, oh, I bet you guys have really like surged in business because this hotel opened. It's like, no, like a little bit. It hasn't gone down.
Right.
But I think the moral of the story is that like your location matters. Like picking a good location, especially if you're not open yet, your location does matter. But beyond just the location choice, if you already have your location, you wish it was busier. It's like be a good steward. Mm-hmm. That's kind of it. And because
do the work.
It's such in our case, it's been such a gradual growth. I was expecting, like when we were looking at the numbers before this, I was expecting to see a lot more of a spike. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure if you looked at a graph of our sales from August of 2019 to August of 2025, it would be a little bit more dramatic. But we kind of looked year over year. Like the graph of a year just kind of looks the same the whole way through, just visually. But my point is, because coffee shop growth in our experience has been so gradual, that proves the point that like just stay on your stuff. Like do great work, hire great people, and make incremental improvements.
Make smart decisions with your money too.
Right.
Yeah, because it's not like you're like popping off on some viral software product where you have crazy cash flow and like overnight your life can change. That's just not coffee shop land.
Yeah, I mean, even if you go absolutely viral, there's still just how to sustain and manage something like that because it's such a cost heavy industry. It's like you may just fumble in that as well. So it's just smart. I mean, that's the takeaway. Do the work, right? And if you're not satisfied, I would say assess your operation and say, if you're not satisfied, like start making changes and go listen to the podcast about how it's all your fault, unfortunately. But we have to tell ourselves the same thing.
All right, gentlemen. I think that was a podcast.
Good night, nurse.
Good night, nurse.